What was your "aw shit, here we go again" moment? When I start getting the smallest hint of a sore throat, I am gonna hate life for the next week or so. When my father starts talking to strangers, we will be waiting for the next hour at least, while he talks to his new friends. We must have the same father. Good luck paying a dinner check then leaving in under an hour. Reminds me of this shower thought. Parents speaking with friends is like cutscenes you can't skip. 6 a.m. every Monday morning as I wake up for work. When the angry lady at Walmart started raising her voice at the cashier because her coupon expired. Cashier: "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but your coupon's expired in 1994. Karen: eyes glowing white. WHATDIDYOUSAYTOME. Karen begins to levitate off the ground. LETMESPEAKTOYOURMANAGER. Cashier, unflinchingly staring back. I *am* the manager. #NANI. Gold. _scree_. Had a woman come through my line with 2 full carts. Scan everything. And then she hands me a stack of coupons. This is a problem because if anything gets flagged we have to find and check the item to make sure the coupon is valid. Size, count, quantity, brand, etc. She's also been pretty right up to this point, complaining about every little thing. I start scanning coupons and come across one issued by a competing grocery store. Tell her sorry, we don't take competitors' coupons. Will they take yours? Quote. To which I reply, then perhaps you should shop there. Then my just about had it teenage brain remembers the store GM is standing right next to me helping bag the large order. I turn to look at her. She looks at me. Then we both return to doing what we were doing. She asks to speak to me a little later, when I go on break. I'm not mad and you're not in trouble as I realize that was a difficult customer to deal with. But what you said isn't like you at all. I just want to know why you said that. Quote. I pause for a beat or two then say, well, in the training videos they said on average a customer with a bad experience tells around 10 other people they know, since people tend to associate with others like them. I was looking to save us from 10 more headaches. She stares at me for a moment, busts out laughing, and tells me to take my break and try not to let it happen again. That's a good way to start the conversation, rather than telling you off as a manager. My neighbor thinks he's John Voight from Anaconda when he gets drunk. I saw him slamming beers on his porch yesterday and a few hours later he was in the bushes looking for snakes and speaking with a shitty accent. You should do the same, but use Steve Irwin's voice. I would watch your show every time we have a family dinner and my parents start talking about introducing me to, and I quote, a potential future husband. Parents try too hard to get their offspring laid, sometimes. Wait, do parents really do this? What the fuck, my parents never try to get me laid. In my experience, if you have Indian parents they will forbid you from making the slightest contact with the opposite sex throughout your teenage years in college, and then when you become 25 they're all confused at why you're not married yet and why you can't get a guy. Try breaking both your arms. When my wife came home with a 4th cat, you'll be thrown out soon. She's making preparations to become crazy cat lady. That's what I understand from this. The government watchdog is coming in next week for an audit. It's never that big a deal, but it means I have to deal with stressed out colleagues who think it is. And they never even bring the dog. It's just a bunch of stuffed shirts. Bringing the actual watchdog would be a bit of therapy. Me. Opens incognito tab. My genitals. Ah shit. Here we go again. Edit. My first gold. On a joke about masturbation. We often hurt the ones we love. I lost my mom unexpectedly when I was 12. So when my dad literally dropped dead in our apartment when I was 18, that's really all that went through my head. Not again. Couldn't wrap my head around how unfair that shit was. I'm so sorry, that is awfully unfair. Wish I had something more to offer other than total agreement. When you've been scrolling down your Reddit feed for half an hour and you accidentally press scroll up. Thanks stranger for the silver. Every single time my sister would fall off the wagon and start doing drugs again, or steal from me and my parents again, or land in jail again. Edit. Thank you for my first silver. Friend. For all of you sharing your stories. Thank you. It helps everyone to know they're not alone. There are support groups out there. So don't think you have to go through it alone. Contact your local Al-Anon groups. Greater than our steal from me and my parents again, or land in jail again. Yeah, I know the feeling. I haven't seen or talked to my brother in over 10 years now, so I'm mostly detached from that crap. At least my parents finally put their feet down a little to prevent him from stealing from us constantly, but not before enough damage was done. My brother stole more than $60,000 worth of goods from the family business and sold them to his drug dealer for heroin before my parents did a thing about it. It's tough. My super chill project manager who respected our knowledge and experience was replaced with a micromanager. Worse, a micromanager with no skills, experience or tact. Hearing my kid start coughing at about 4 a.m. this morning. Whenever he gets a cough, it gets so bad he starts puking. Had to move him to the couch with towels and a bucket. That retching noise puts me on full alert immediately. Ugh. It took us way too long to discover the sick bags that are available at the hospital can be bought online and save so much cleanup. Every time someone says drunk driving is not a big deal, I absolutely hate to be that guy that tells people what to do and has the moral high ground. But what I hate even more is people driving drunk, which is why I have taken car keys from people with force. Fortunately, I am a big fucker, so they will not try to knock me out to get them back. Paid taxi fares. Called good friends out on social media and have tried to leave from a friend's place before somebody else leaves who I knew would want to drive, just to not have to argue about it. Unfortunately, I made a promise at the podium at a funeral of one of my very best friends, who was killed by a drunk driver over a decade ago, to never let anyone drive drunk. I regret having to do all that crap, but I have never regret that promise. Please don't drive fucked up. I have done so before my friend was killed and I was very lucky, even though I thought I had everything under control at all time. Believe me, you do not want to be responsible for some decent person's death. If you are a decent person, it will fuck you up, and if you are not a decent person, fuck you anyway. Edit 1. Thank you for my first gold and platinum, especially for a post about an issue that is really close to my heart. Edit 2. Thank you for all the kind comments and for also caring to not let people drive drunk. Did not expect that at all. I too am a big fucker and have had to use force on friends not to drive drunk. I'm right there with you, brother. But my reasoning comes from a different place. I was that idiot that thought they were a good drunk driver. Late teens. There was one night that I thought I could make it home from a normal Friday night beer pong at our friend's house. Me being the big dude, I'm always pressured to chug the largest volume of beer, or chug a beer faster than someone else, even if that pressure came from me and not others, as I thought I had to keep up reputation. See above where I'm an idiot. Well, that night I'm driving home, which was about 15 minutes away, but had to take a fairly large road with a big median. Luckily no one else was on the road near me. I puked into my lap and drove into the median's grassy ditch and lost control of my car. I didn't hit anything, but I almost rolled my SUV. I finished driving home but don't remember it. I woke up with my engine still running and parked in my normal spot at my house, covered in dried puke and stinking like hell. That night was my actual wake-up call. I can't believe I hadn't hurt anyone, but I'm so glad I never did. I've never driven again drunk, and even now, in my 30s, I get super nervous about ordering a second beer while out at night if I know I'm driving. I bought a breathalyzer, Or my friend did. I can't remember. The week following that incident, and refused to ever let myself or any of my friends leave our party house if they were over the limit. Since growing up, I still forced people to take an Uber or a taxi, and have paid for them on most occasions. I see the cost. The risk isn't worth it. Keep on keeping on, brother. When I'm getting my period, better than the alternative. Every time my mom would enter a manic episode, I'd come home after a normal day and she would be talking to herself or would start yelling at me about a conversation or situation that never happened. So I was just like, great. Here we go again. Edit. Thank you for the gold, stranger. I'm glad that my childhood trauma counts for something. Lol, I love you. Edit number 2. Silver 2? Gosh darn. You guys are the sweetest. My ex was bipolar, so I relate a lot. Her manic episodes were fine, but were always followed by a downswing of terrifying proportions. Every time I came home from work and she was shopping online for things she'd never wear, I knew what was gonna happen next. Hope you're doing okay these days. It can really mess a person up, especially when you're dealing with that from a parent. Launching GTA San Andreas and starting a new game. Buddhists when they die. Friend I had cut off appears in my new country of residence. We meet, then proceeds talking 99% of the time about them fucking amazing selves. Then I go, aw shit. Here we go again. Look at my mobile phone and say, oops, sorry, I have to leave. See you again in 5 years. Not. Yeah, I read stuff like this and I hope to God that I'm not a big fucking jackass and I don't even know it. Every time my mom calls, yeah, it's sad. Same, I stopped responding. Probably more unhealthy, but I DK what to do. I want you to know. I just cut my mom out of my life last week when she told me she had her boyfriend sabotage my car. Amongst other things. The weight off my back is astounding. Toxicity comes in all forms and you don't have to keep that negative energy in your life. I keep losing my map in Minecraft on Xbox and I can't get that one back ever. When you download a new texture pack or mod and close the tab but realize you downloaded the wrong one. When I still lived at home, it was anytime my dad made some vague excuse to leave the house on foot. He would disappear to the pub for at least 3 or 4 hours. Sometimes longer, and we would never know what kind of mood he'd be in when he returned home. So, yeah, here we go again. Every time I heard, I'm just going for a haircut or to place a bet or pick up a prescription. Honestly, I would prefer this over what my parents do. They get drunk at home and we, the kids, have to deal with them through every stage of drunkenness. Happy, fun, sad, angry, all of it. I wished so many times they would leave so we did not have to deal with it. Sounds kinda mean, but when they get blackout drunk 3 to 4 times every week since you are 6, it gets old. When my older brother's new girlfriend announced she was pregnant, this will be my brother's 5th child, having 4 with his ex-wife. When you have to wake up early to get back into your weekly routine for school, college, work after a holiday or break, turning off the portrait lock on my phone. You know, balls start sweating when you are listening to a music but somehow got distracted, so you have to rewind the whole thing. When I heard my dad angrily grabbing his belt, not jumper cables, I was wondering the same. Wonder how that guy is doing. He hasn't posted for 3 years. I think the jumper cables finally got high, monsieur. I was bullied quite badly in 6th grade for being a nerd. But my school was actually quite helpful about it, and I wasn't in any classes with the perpetrators in 7th. One day, I remember being in science class while some popular girls in my group were giggling as I sat down. I didn't think it was anything out of the ordinary, so I took one of the school computers from the car to work on the group project. When I loaded up the presentation, my name had been changed to Tomato Face Teacher's Pet. This kind of stuff was normal for me. But the problem was the nickname itself. It was the exact same one from last year. and I knew that it was starting again. Least your school tried to help. Mine blamed me, gave me detention for disrupting the class. I got pissed and yelled at the guy to fuck off. And anytime I tried to report it, the VP would turn it on me. So I threw the kid into 12 feet ditch. I assume it was deep. Scared him shitless and he never got near me again. We're actually okay now. Worked with him a few years back. Edit. To be clear, violence is not always the solution to these types of issues. In my case, I had no real options. Since the school refused to help, always seek the school and/or parents for help first. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.